Well, it was an absolute test of our character getting back in the circumstances under which we flew.
Listen, it was character building, and you do find out about a person in
so
situations
privileged
like that,
to go to the fight,
like the people that boxed on Saturday night as well. There was a lot of character building out there. We found a lot of yeah, absolutely.
I like what you did there, Spencer. Let's get to it. What did you witness on Saturday night in the fact that Usyk beat Fury? In the way that he beat him and the way the judges saw it, every one of them, 116 to 112.
Yeah, I totally agree with it, if I'm honest. I had it 115, 113. There was a couple of swing rounds where, it was subjective scoring, what way you went with it. But the right person won, that is for sure. I know there was Frank Warren was quite upset about that. And I understand that because he's mostly involved inside and outside the ring with with Tyson Fury. So, obviously, when the rounds go close, he's going to see it Fury's way. But as a neutral, looking at it, I thought the right man won. It was a great fight.
Yeah. Alex Krasiuk, outside the arena at the end of it, Spencer, I ran into him, the manager, of course, of Oleksandr Usyk, and he told me what he himself saw in his own fighter that night.
We witnessed the encyclopedia of boxing. How Alex showed what boxing is from the inside. He was building the fight as construction of building the house. So he made the basement first, then he started to put bricks, started to put floors on floor, putting windows, and then the roof. So he has a 12-story building, perfectly done, and he is the master of boxing.
It was quite incredible to watch him at the end. You wonder what else there is for him. I mean, is he going to fight Dubois? Does he want to? Do you want him to?
I think Dubois has a very tough opponent in front, because my bet is with Joseph Parker.
Do you think we'll ever see Fury back after that, or do you think he'll sail off into the sunset?
If good money is at stake, he will come. I think he's not retiring, for sure.
How proud are you of Oleksandr?
Absolutely proud. There is no such word. I can't actually find the word in English to say what I really am. But let's choose very, very, very extremely proud.
He has such dignity, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
Every time he speaks, every time he appears.
Yes. He's like a son. When I come to his aura, I feel motivation, I feel incentive to live, to be happy and things like that.
That was Alex Krasiuk talking about Oleksandr Usyk, his fighter. We asked the question earlier on, Spencer, Usyk, is he the greatest ever? Simon suggests no, but he's the greatest of a generation.
Yeah, I agree with Simon. I think he is the greatest, definitely, of this generation. And that's been proven already, isn't it? With a couple of victories over Anthony Joshua, beat Daniel Dubois, now Tyson Fury a couple of times. What else is there left for him to do? Undisputed cruiserweight champion, undisputed heavyweight champion, Ring Magazine champion, World Boxing Series champion. So he's cleaned up everything there is to do within the sport. But he will continue boxing because he's got a love for it. It's a passion for it. It gives him that discipline that he needs and the focus that he needs. And obviously his people, he does a lot for the Ukrainian people, and that gives them a lot of hope. He's one of their big heroes.
Simon, on Daniel Dubois and doing what he did, jumping in the ring, right, yeah. I'll fight you, we'll do it again. Would Dubois beat Usyk second time around? Because he's such a different fighter to the one that fought him first time.
Yeah, I think he's got a significant... obviously he's got to take care of Joseph Parker, and I think he will. And I think probably, Spence, you concur with that. Mm-hmm. I think he'll knock Joseph Parker out. And I think that Dubois represents a significant challenge to Usyk. Whether Usyk needs to take that challenge up, given the fact he's already beaten him, whether it gives Usyk an opportunity to have a second tilt at being twice undisputed heavyweight champion in the world, and whether all the stars align, that gives him the unification of all the belts again, who knows? But I like Dubois. I like what he's becoming, and he's becoming what people prophesied for him 4 years ago. And I think he's getting bigger and bolder. I thought it was nonsense walking in the ring, but someone would have told him to do it, irrespective of whether they say they didn't, right? And whether it was right and appropriate. And Oleksandr Usyk, as he always does, but behaves with dignity. Yeah. And manages it the way that he should manage it. But I've got a feeling that Dubois has got the power and the toolkit to give him some real trouble. And I think now that he's got the belief system and maybe a better engine, Dubois, which Don Charles would have been working on, then I think he's got the toolkit to give Usyk a very hard night's work. He's younger. Usyk's has been in whatever, irrespective of whether he's been blasted around the ring by Fury. He's been in 2 difficult fights with Fury. He's been in 2 difficult fights with Joshua. They haven't had, he hasn't been knocked down or created that much damage, but they've been taxing fights.
Listen, in the cruiserweight division as well, Marius Bredas, Gassiev, and all those guys that he'd beaten, and he goes on the road. He's beating everyone in their backyard, and that's very important as well. Like, but he is 37 years of age. Daniel Dubois is 27 years of age, and Simon's right in what he's saying. Daniel is an improving fighter. He's a guy that is like, and he's growing in confidence, and that confidence is everything. And I think winning that title and the way that the last 12 months that he's had is crucial for him. I'm with you. I think he beats Joseph Parker, and that does set up the rematch. But does Usyk want to go there? Does he? What is the motivation for him right now? That is the big $1 million question.
What other fights are there out there for him? I don't see. I mean, Tyson Fury can tub thump as much as he wants. I don't think he won that fight on Saturday night. I made it a draw, but I still don't think Fury won that fight, and he certainly didn't win the first fight. So what's the incentive for the money in the room to make Fury versus Usyk again? So that one's off the table potentially. There's no reason for Joshua to be fighting Usyk anytime soon. So where's Usyk going to go? Who's he going to fight? Martin Bakole?
No, he's going to be looking to. I think he's going to want to become undisputed champion again. I think that's the motivation, and that's
the gatekeeper for that potentially is Daniel Dubois.
What does it tell us about this British generation of heavyweights? They've all been wiped out by Usyk.
Well, Usyk's a generational great, so there's no look. Tyson Fury put 2 great fights up against him. Anthony Joshua had some good fights against him. You're losing to somebody that we will be talking about in many years to come. He's not just a regular world champion. He's someone very, very special. He knows how to turn the screw. He knows how to direct a fight. He knows when to turn it up.
Spence?
Yes, he is.
The reason I'm going to frame the question differently, is he, or is it because these guys ain't all they're cracked up to be? That Fury isn't what we thought he was, and at this stage in his career, he certainly isn't able to do what he did against Klitschko and against Wilder, and Joshua's come up short. Is it because Usyk is so good, or is it because these guys are getting billing that they're not entitled to?
Because Usyk is so good.
Right.
That's where I'm at with it, for sure. And, I think that, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a great fighter. He really is. And there's an argument, is he slightly past his best now at this age of his career? And we haven't seen the Tyson Fury that we saw beat, let's say, Klitschko back in 2015. That is for sure, where he was light on his feet, a lot of movement, but as guys get older, they adapt and, they change their styles and whatever. Fury's a great fighter still undoubtedly number 2 in the world. I mean, it was a great fight there on Saturday night, that is for sure.
Dubois lost that first fight, Simon. Wasn't there a low blow earlier in that fight? And there was a really long stoppage
4 minutes
for Usyk, which almost looked like, look, if you're fighting in the street, you don't get 4 minutes, do you, to tidy yourself up?
So you're allowed, if there's a low blow, you're allowed 5 minutes to recover. No, it wasn't low. That's the point. And I'm with you, Martin. I think that Oleksandr Usyk done a very clever thing by saying, right, I'm going to nick some minutes here. We was in Poland. We was on the border of Ukraine there, and there was, I don't know, I think there was 20,000 Ukrainians there. And because of what was going on, it was Ukrainian Independence Day as well. So there was a lot of emotions flying around.
Dubois was on top there, wasn't he?
He was massively on top, and I think that he would have won the fight. I really do. Had he not lost that momentum, inexperience let him down, and I think going into this one, he would have a great chance of beating Oleksandr Usyk for sure.
You thought on Saturday night didn't come over like it was a edge of seat thing.
No,
that you were totally absorbed by.
I didn't think it was a barn burner. I thought it was a tactically and technically good fight.
Isn't it incredible?
I didn't look at it and go, wow.
It was wow for us.
Where I was at, I was so engrossed in the moment, like you say, because they were going into it, and they both knew what they were going into. Yeah. You didn't have the drama of the first one where they kicked off so much, but it was very technical. For a boxing purist, you look at it, you knew that it was like a chess match. One mistake, checkmate.
Just out of curiosity, in your heavyweight division, do you want technicality, or do you want people going through the ring and blasting people out?
The casual wants people going in there and blasting out. That's what you pay for.
So it's
that's
a great
what you
experience,
want to see.
guys. Where did the character building come then?
For who?
You said to me after you said.
I'm talking about the undercard, mate. I'm talking about Johnny
This sounds
Fisher's.
like it was a great fight.
It was a great fight.
It was.
For me, I really enjoyed it. It was I thought it was fantastic.
I was absorbed by it.
It was a seesaw. It was going one way than the other. You never knew. No one really got a foothold of it until right at the end, and that was Oleksandr Usyk, where he does what he does so good.
His trainer talked about putting the basement in, the foundations. When did he put the roof on in that fight?
He put the roof on in rounds 10 and 11. 10, 11, 12. That's when he turned it up. And it wasn't just a normal roof. It was a very posh roof.
well constructed.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that.
Like Simon Jordan's, like his house.
Not
you know?
a thatch roof like on the top of your head.
He lives in a penthouse.
Since Spencer is in our midst, we are going to be
That's very
talking
good.
about Spencer's view of 2024. It was the year of the turkey. We'll get more of Spencer's 2024 highlights in a sec.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.